Welcome, everyone. This is Pilot Niels, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at Jesus and LOTRO and hear LOTRO players. And this week we have with us Krister.
Hello.
And Cinders.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. And this week we had a patch.
Whoop, whoop.
That's right. We had update 38.2, which included the Ill Omen skirmish event, which returned, as well as a couple of little tweaks here and there. So let's begin with the Ill Omen skirmish event. The Ill Omen skirmish event started on January 11th, 2024. 3 new cosmetic pets have been added to Netta Pinleaf, available at the barter for tokens of Ill Omens: an Ill Omened Jackal, an Ill Omened Snake, and an Ill Omened Crab. Due to the recent increase in the level cap 150, the rewards for Rapper Quest Skirmish Ill Omens has been adjusted. The quest still awards Virtue XP and a Legendary Tracery token, but the Positive Portent Barter token reward has been replaced this season with an Ill Omens Treasury package. For characters levels 20 through 148, this package will award an assortment of crafting materials, including 2 universal solvents. For characters levels 149 through 150, this package will award 2 luck stones for Umbar crafting, 2 universal solvents, a Seafarer's primary essence, and a Cloak of Conflict. This presents an advanced opportunity to acquire these cloaks, as they will also be available via alternate means in a future update. Level 150 cloak essences that can be placed into these cloaks will also be introduced in an update following the conclusion of the Ill Omens event. So it sounds like that when they say that, my guess is that they're going to be available through probably the instance cluster that's coming up.
That would make sense.
That would be the logical place for such a thing to come. I haven't seen this conflict cloak yet. I would presume actually no one's probably seen it yet, because you need to finish 10 rounds of Ill Omens before you can do that. Now, this event is running until the end of the month, so January 31st, which means that'll be 21 days, depending on how they draw the lines on this thing. So 21 days. As arranged to it, you have 10 rounds of them to do, because the requirement for the Rapper Quest Skirmish Ill Omens, it has been adjusted to require 10 skirmish assaults, down from 12 from last year.
I like that there's that big, multiple extra days, so that you don't have to try and do it every single day. You can take a day off or something if you have something else going on.
And it also helps with my warden, because I want to wait till my warden gets a little closer to the cap before I start doing this. And I'm hoping that maybe my warden will hit cap with more than 10 days left in the event, so that I could then just do the last 10 days with the warden. And by that time, I'm hoping my lore master will be finished, so I won't have to worry about that conflict. Now, the deed, Skirmish Assault Ill Omens Tier 3, will now count completion of Ill Omens Doom of Kara Celebran T3 as one of its objectives. If you have Skirmish Assault Ill Omens Tier 3 underway and have already completed Ill Omens Doom of Kara Celebran Tier 3, that objective will automatically advance. Good luck in finishing Kara Celebran at Tier 3.
There's always a chance.
Well, yes, of course there's always a chance. I'm sure there are some people who are out there who are laughing or saying, "What do you mean we do that for breakfast?" Let's go on looking at some news and notes for bug fixes. You now need to speak to the Accursed Warrior to obtain the quest Accursed and Lost in the Wastes. Before the shadow missions have been corrected to award the correct amount of legendary item reward track experience. I have absolutely no idea how much they were providing before and how that was relative to the expected value. The roving threats quartermasters in Angmar and Forhel, Kanach, and Ostansat have traded appearances to be consistent with their locations. Bryglad's flower and in the old forest has been moved from the inside of a rock.
Can you imagine like trying to complete that deed and be like, I don't see a flower. All I see is this rock.
Yeah, I completed this deed 10 times already, and the wiki says this is where the flower is located. Fixed an issue with the Delving Quest XP for the reward track not properly scaling with player level. And updated the door to Zufan's home in Umbar to no longer have a quest requirement, allowing players to leave at will.
Where are you? Trapped in a house.
Yeah, trapped in a house. For the Combe Forester event, due to an unforeseen issue with providing craft experience rewards in a non-craft quest, we have had to remove the experience reward from the Combe Forester event. And the event will now fail for burglars using hide in plain sight. Tricky, tricky, tricky. And there is now a longer duration timer for abandonment of the event, and added the serious business as a barring effect to use all of the destructible mount summoning items.
I feel like to understand any of that, I would need to actually go do the event.
Yes, you're right. Because I'm saying destructible mount summoning. I only know of one destructible mount summoning item that's ever been around, and that was the horse whistle that you get in that starter package, which is, I think, is the item that I always look at the horse whistle and then pull it and destroy it because. Right? Because I have journeyman riding, so I don't care about the horse whistle.
Yeah. I just like that they named the barring effect serious business.
Oh, serious business has been around for a while. It's an effect that is at special events and the like, and what it does is that it doesn't allow you to do certain things that could potentially lag the server. And it's nice at, I think there are a lot of festival special events where they have it, and they don't want people like causing people like to flop over and fall on their face on the floor, like in the middle of a race or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So therefore,
I don't know that I've ever seen that because I must not do anything that would put me in an area with that.
Oh, it's great. You make people flop on their face and then you win. It's awesome. Makes you feel good.
There's a reason why I have that particular option turned off.
Yes, every now and again, Sans and I will negotiate where when I get one of the new, get an item that I haven't ever seen the effect of before, where I'll be like, take that off so that I can throw this at you and see what it does.
I don't want
to. I say she's really good at humoring me, but then I have to let her do it back. So
yeah,
the only one she doesn't like is the spider legs.
I wonder why. Let's go into crafting. Umbar crafting, the upgrade recipe to enhance durable items were set to the incorrect output of skilled items instead of the enduring items. This has been fixed. A Mistress of Apprentices has been added to the Swain Crafting Guild. She is located near the entrance of the hall. And Umbar Crafting Guild daily quests have been modified as follows. Collecting the item is now the first objective to the quest, not the execution of the recipe to create the item. The daily cooldown on the recipe to create the crate of goods needed to turn into Umbar Guild Masters is removed. You can now craft a crate of items independently.
That's potentially going to be helpful.
Okay. Good. Then you understood what that meant?
Yes. So it was like the very first thing that I did after joining the crafting guild, like on the second day when I went to make the box. I made the box before I picked up the quest, and then I couldn't turn it in because the execution is what you had to do to advance it. So then I had to make another box to turn in. And so being able to do this, where the first objective is collecting it, has the potential to make that a little bit easier so you don't have that kind of waste, if you will, of items.
It's sort of like the infamous thing that always happened to me during the starter crafting quests, where they had the step-by-step process of what you were supposed to do on the farming one. I think what you had to do is you had to plant the field, then you had to harvest the field, and then you had to you had to plant the field, then you had to turn on your farmer detection thing, so your track crops thing. Then you harvest it, and I always forgot to turn on the track thing every single time. Yeah. And okay, start over.
Yeah, very much like that. So this sounds like it'll be good. I haven't tried it since they made that change. Like, I just haven't done that. So
okay. Then, all right. Let's see. Where were we?
Items.
Yes. We reached items. Very well. Additional rank 30 allegiance rings may be bartered from the Umbari allegiance NPCs. So that means there are now a couple of rings that you could go and try to barter for once you have everything else that you need, because before there were only you only had those two pieces at each of the two items that you could barter for. That was really useful in there, which was, I don't think that even required rank, that other thing. But the rings, yes, you have to actually get the allegiance rank in order to be able to barter for these. And the allegiance armor item, elegantly woven shoes of the eagle, have had their stats updated so they no longer are the same as the finely stitched shoes of the eagle. And mountain cosmetic pet decorations can no longer be sold to vendors for silver, preventing the loss of pet or mount information from the decoration during buyback.
Huh?
That's confusing.
I guess a lot of people have had the case where they accidentally sold a cosmetic pet and then tried to do a buyback.
Oh.
And as a result of that, I'm not too sure what the loss of pet or mount information was that happened during that time, but
I don't know.
Yeah. The new housing music box is released with update 38 now properly play music.
I could just see people equipping it and then like trying to turn it up and cranking their volume, and it's still not playing, and then they walk into a regular area and just get blasted. I could see that happening because I would do that.
Yeah. Food regeneration rates have been normalized and should now give more consistent morale and power regeneration regardless of the specific food eaten. I guess I should double check to see what exactly they mean by that. I guess they mean that there were some foods that gave way more of something than some others.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not too sure on that one. I haven't actually taken a close look at them since the update on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Umbari feasts were erroneously giving much stronger than intended bonuses. These have been brought back down to the levels much closer to the normal food effects.
Well, we
Much
felt
to
like they were giving the
everybody's
appropriate
disappointment.
number. We thought they were giving the appropriate amount of benefits. Thank you very much.
If I remember correctly, when I first looked at this, I was doing a double take because it looked like it was giving 10 times, maybe 20 times more benefit than the food I had. I said, "What is my food giving this piddly amount on there?" And then the food that's shown there was giving it,
Yeah,
you know, 100 times more.
You just need to understand the concept behind that. So, when you're at home making food, you make mediocre food with mediocre effect. But then, let's say that you deploy the picnic table. Well, the picnic table is equivalent to going to the state fair, and so now everything that you would just normally make, everything at the state fair is deep fried. So now you've got 20, 30 times the goodness packed into that because you went to the picnic table as opposed to your standard food. See. So it's like we ate like the really good stuff, the really fatty, oily stuff, and that gave us the edge in our raid.
That's a good analogy. I like that one.
I'm sticking to it, no matter how many holes are in it.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you don't take your worst food to share with people. Like most people take their best, so it would make sense for it to be fabulous.
Yeah, it was actually kind of funny because we knew that the change was coming. So the picnic table was kind of like, "Hurry, everybody! Come on and eat before all this goes away."
Last chance before the ants come and invade. Umbari feasts now correctly give two separate food effects, one for stats and one for regeneration. The crab cast mother and greater crabs in Umbar missions, a taste for crab and an infestation of crabs, now can drop Umbari crab legs that can be used for Umbari cook crafting recipes.
That is accurate. They are dropping them. Sans and I figured that out yesterday.
Yes.
Submissions. We got a couple crab legs. I was like, oh, they did fix that.
And in fact, when I killed the cast mother, I think the cast mother actually dropped 8 crab legs in one.
Yeah.
She might have been holding some in reserve.
And then, so that's about it. And so these are pretty much the bosses of those missions. So it's not all the regular crab. So all the trash crabs you kill along the way, they don't drop the crab legs. It's just the last ones you kill at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's it for items. So let's go into quests and adventure areas. The challenge level of delving wrappers has been moved to 150. The city of Umbar Maharbel is now a little safer for players of level 20 and up. We have lowered the expected player level in the city to reduce the penalty for crafting and to lower the enhanced aggro radius of the enemy mobs within the city proper. Crafters and visiting characters looking to do missions are now less prone to random attacks from distant enemies.
The key to this is it's a little safer. If you have lower level characters that have gotten almost all of their levels by crafting and they're like ready to go to the Umbari Guild, you will still die.
Yeah, you just have to hope. You just have to hope that the rats don't notice you when you do the run to the Swain Hall, right?
Yes, but if you can get in there, you can set a milestone and just port directly there.
Yes.
I feel like that was too negative. Some of them will only be seriously injured by the time they arrive. So,
that is true. My level 50 champion, though, definitely got a one shot and died. But it does give you the option to revive for free, which I did. Because if you don't revive for free and you just get splatted and you res, In the red circle, you end up at the North Gate, clear across town.
Yes.
That is awesome. Oh my goodness. They must have. I wonder how many people have died in those streets to bring this about.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people were complaining about trying to get to the Swain Hall with their low-level characters. Now, one of the nice things, though, about the lowering of this level is that means that
you can summon lower
Right.
level characters.
Oh, cool. Good.
yes, that means acorns will now work. Well, assuming you're high enough level to use acorns.
Acorns,
Then-
Captain Horns,
Captain Horns.
Hunter Ports, I presume, would work.
Yeah, and we did a test with the Mariner port.
Mm-hmm. Mariner Port works.
Yeah, the Mariner port worked, and the Mariner port is really convenient for the
Bloody Eagle.
Yeah, for the Bloody
Mhm.
Eagle, because that is the easiest way to get to the Bloody Eagle. Is actually, I would say in any way whatsoever, unless you're at least level 140 and have the Bloody Eagle port. I mean, outside of that, the easiest way to get there is through the Mariner port. So you know a Mariner, they could, I guess, sail you over, and real easy trip. And since that particular location where they bring you is right next to the harbor warden's location, it's one of the safest neighborhoods in Umbar.
Yes.
Of course, if you try to get to the Swain Hall, that's another matter entirely.
Yes.
See how the Mariner slowly is creeping into it. See how he sold the Mariner there and just put down everybody else. He's like, oh yeah, go with the Mariner. You got to get on the boat with the Mariner because you don't want to go on the boat with the captain. The captain won't be able to sing you a shanty when you're crossing on the boat, but the Mariner will. See.
But here's what the captain can do that the Mariner can't do.
Right.
Which is the captain can stand right outside the Swain Hall where it is safe, and they can summon a lower level character in. So
Yes.
it's safer in that way to hang with a captain.
That's right.
Yeah. See, the whole question is, has the person who's transporting you already been there? Because if the captain is there, then that's not so good. But then otherwise, the captain has to be able to get there. I guess if the captain's been there and it has the milestone, then I guess it could be trivial. Yes.
Yep.
Captains are everywhere.
5-minute cooldowns for the win.
5-minute cooldowns for the win. Yes. The following Stable Master collection locations will now specify the correct name and area information to work properly to allow teleporting. Arthur, Arnach, Arios, Farukzahar, which used to be Dwarven Fortress, the Harland, which used to be just Harland, Imlath Melwe, Linhir, Malbarth, Ost Angelbed, and Zarsastrad, which used to be called Dwarven Outpost. The quest, Bevy of Baubles, Epicurean's Desire Eggs, and Adornment with Feathers were losing their quest guide information after the usage of a single nest. This has now been fixed, and now the area where the nests are found displays during the entire time that you have not collected all the necessary items. The quest to take control of To Askaran and defeat Captain General Makan was blocked by the old tutorial quest in the Entmoors. We have now updated the quest requirements to look for the new tutorial experience.
Okay, so I have a question about that.
Yeah?
I'm guessing you haven't done this, Pinely, because you don't really do that at Mars. I haven't done them in a long time. Krister, have you done them since they changed any of the PvMP stuff?
No, I have not.
Okay. Alright. We just don't have any more information on that then. Cool.
Okay.
That's all I was wondering.
All right. And fix an issue in the Cape of Umbar quest, a pallet tide, wherein quest counter announcements were not appearing for all objectives. Ulanor should never have been attackable during Blood of My Blood, either while visible or invisible. Now she's not. There have also been numerous fixes in the drama sequence. The damage of the Creeping Cold skill has been reduced in the instance Shakulash the Stair battle. Oh yes, please, thank you! Now when I figured out what they were talking about, yes, that Creeping Cold skill was, let's say, the bane of many a group. And we refer to that boss as Mr. Random because it would just look like sometimes, not much, and other times wipe the party. You know.
Kept you on your toes, though, right?
No, because my toes would freeze off and I would fall over. Ulanor should never have. Oh, no, I already said that. Yes, and trolls in Oskambursru, the Warfell should now spawn only at level 130. Fix.
It'd be much better if they were spawning at like level 50 or something. That would be
Fix physics issues in the Umbar mission protecting the sea lanes. Now, I should
Why that
really
one? Fix infestation of crabs.
Oh, they did. Actually, as far as I know, I think that this might have been a late one on there because infestation of crabs is the one that they fixed in this.
Oh,
because
good.
I was in it. I did infestation of crab, and there was not a single physics issue in that entire mission.
Yay! I can do that one now.
Yeah, we'll try it again to double check to make sure it meets your approval.
I'm sure that it will.
Yeah, because the original release in protecting the sea lanes did have several physics issues, but they tend to have disappeared. There might have been one or two left, small ones left, but most of those disappeared after that first update. But yes, infestation of crabs, that was really bad until the latest update.
Yeah, I haven't tried it since then, so definitely good to know that they fixed that.
Okay. The Apothecary in Dinadab, King's Condor, and Gallingam's Divine and Delicate Giraffes in Calamel in King's Condor no longer incorrectly share a dungeon file/map. You mean they didn't just steal each other's layout or something? Worm and Corsair Slayer deeds in the Cape of Umbar will now count more of the enemies in this area. Thank you very much.
Especially that sorry worm deed. I was just going through there with Sans yesterday before I had read the show notes, and I was just like, yeah, there's like 11 salamanders, and they're the only worms that count for the entire deed, and you have to have like 200 of them by the time you're done. And she was like, really? I'm like, yes, really. But now reading this, I'm like, oh, maybe some of those rockworms, and maybe the crocodiles will count.
Well, I don't know about the crocodiles.
It did say they were dragon kind.
So they do count. This? Oh, I guess we'll have to go and check the...
I think they said they were dragon kind when we went through because we were trying to figure out what they were, if they were
okay, yeah, because it's... okay, I guess it's hard for me to think of crocodiles as being dragon kind for... So is dragon kind you usually think of as fantasy monsters?
Yep, and say we had that whole conversation when we
I think we did.
What about Komodo dragons, man? They're not fantasy monsters, they're real.
Yeah, they could also be rather nasty.
That's true.
At least they haven't given us a variant of that in there. But that would be appropriate to that that kind of a biome.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I could just imagine one of the nearby islands having a population of Komodo dragons.
They'd
I
have
want
to call
them. I want them added to
Umbari
the game
dragons.
only if they drop crab legs.
That would be funny if they dropped crab legs.
Oh, I could just imagine because they were just feasting on crabs and
Exactly.
they come out of their
Clean
stomach.
it out of their intestines. Yep. Or having the elves send you on a quest to collect whatever they've been eating to identify it.
All right.
See that.
Miscellaneous asset placement issues have been resolved. Miscellaneous cross-server placement issues have been resolved. Miscellaneous Z-fighting issues have been resolved. Caverns of Emin Ernil is no longer accessible in King's Gondor. Miscellaneous of floating objects or resource nodes have been grounded. Thank you. Several incorrectly leveled monsters and resource node spawns in King's Gondor have been fixed. Typo.
Do you suppose they fixed those things in Umbar that counted for King's Gondor? Were they the flies?
You mean those?
Yeah, they counted towards the bug deed in King's Gondor, the insect deed.
The Neeker. Was it the Neekers
or was Neekers
or was it
flies? Sickle flies.
Yeah,
but
it was something like that. But they were counting for King's Gondor. Yeah, that was rather weird.
Yep, we were definitely in Umbar.
Yes, the entrance to the Mason interior in Dol Amroth, King's Gondor, is now correctly labeled.
You
Miscellaneous
the typo in the landmark for Abdex Watch in King's Gondor.
Okay. Well,
it's been resolved, folks.
It's been resolved. Okay. In landmark Abdex Watch. Okay.
You just skipped over it. It's all good.
Well, see, I never noticed the typo in the first place, so I guess it never registered. Miscellaneous stuck spots have been fixed. Okay, and miscellaneous terrain texture issues have been fixed. A milestone has been placed outside the Swain's Guild Hall. And the milestone, minimum level for milestones in the city of Umbar were lowered down to 5. So that's also really nice. So you don't have to be, I don't know what the old level was, something like 130 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
So that worked. Let's see. And
there's the physics and performance issues for infestation of crabs.
Okay. They've made it a fixed physics and performance issues and infestation. Okay, they added it so far away from the other one that that I didn't notice it, because I would have thought that those were so related to each other that they would have parked them right next to each other in the show in the notes. All right. The minimum level for quests of the Blackroot Vale has been restored to its original intended value of 90 instead of 140. Oops. An Umbar weekly wrapper quest, The Fortunes of Umbar Bahar Bell Weekly, is now available from the Umbar Quartermaster in the Bloody Eagle Tavern, the Upper Ward, and the Hunter's Expedition Camp. Rewards from this quest include Embers of Enchantment and Virtue XP.
Yay! I haven't tried it yet, but that will be worth it.
Good reward?
It's a fantastic reward.
Yeah, right. Oh, and I better go and grab that. An Umbari Tam for Ember's Quest is now available from the Umbar Quartermaster in the Bloody Eagle Tavern, the Upper Ward, and the Hunter's Expedition Camp.
Which does work. I did turn that in, and it was very helpful. I can go get more Ember's gear.
All right.
Next time I'm in game.
Virtue XP rewards have been removed from level cap 140 wrapper quests, including Reclaiming the Mountain Hold Weekly, Challenges of Gunabad Weekly, Raid the Hidden Hoard of Abenakara weekly, and Challenger of the Iron Crown weekly, and Raid Guarthrenos of the Witch King Citadel weekly. The silver coins of Gunabad of Emperor's Quest has been converted to silver coins of Gunabad for moats, and adjusted the phasing of Ayaluk in Rakhnadvad if you help someone with part of this quest line without having started it yourself. All right. Okay. And then finally some miscellaneous things. The Allegiance, Order of the Eagle, and Legend Keepers have had their max rank advanced from rank 20 to rank 30. New rewards are available at ranks 25 and 30 of each track. And I presume that the level 30 new reward are the rings that we spoke of earlier.
That would make sense.
The disposing of bottles in the Midsummer Festival quest, A Cure for All Ills, now has an animation. Race of Man hat hair is now updated to match the updated hair texture sets. Race of Man Brawler themed helmets with forced hair will now allow for any hairstyle available in the character creation option settings. Previously chosen hair will no longer be overridden when you equip a Brawler set helmet. The former forced Brawler hairstyles have been spun off into new available styles and updated with the current hair textures. The new options are found in both the character creation screen and the barbershop and are only available for the Race of Men, females, and male characters currently. The new hairstyle options are number 58 to 61 for males and 56 through 59 for females. The title, Disciple of Scrolls and Peak Scaler, now displayed properly in German.
Good.
A typo in German has been adjusted for the Lone Lands map. Dead Slayer of the Angle now displays properly in French. And travel routes from Jacques Fernal will no longer randomly go off course.
Where would they go when they went off course?
I have absolutely no
Into
idea.
the ocean.
It was random.
In the Goblin Camp. In the Corsair Camp.
Yeah, I could just imagine it take you into the Haradrim camp and then dump you there.
Yep. That would not be pleasant.
That would not be pleasant. And that's it for this week's update notes. Now, they were hoping to have a Bulwer build this week, but that did not happen. So, let's hope that they'll have that ready for next week. So, let's go into the store sales. Cinders, what's on sale this week?
You can find your own Shadowfax and get 30% off of select War Steeds and mounts, riding skills, select War Steed cosmetics, movement speed buffs, now through January 18th. They still don't have Shire Plum options yet. I know. And then the weekly coupon is for free Battle Potion of Restoration. Coupon code is Battle Rest, all capitals, BATTLEREST, now through January 18th as well.
All right, thank you, Cinders. Then let's go and go into our new player question. Cinders, what's our question this week?
What are plugins? How do you find reputable ones? And do you have any favorites?
All right. First of all, I guess is, what are they?
Yep.
Yes, they are little little items that interface with the game using a language called Lua, Lua. And you could load in these things and they in some way alter the interface in some way, usually giving you some enhanced ability that you would not normally have. I guess when we describe some of our favorite plugins, you'll get an idea of some of the things that they can do. Now, there are some limits on what you can do with a plugin, especially if a feature was added to the game since the plugin's implementation, then there might not be a proper interface that can use them. For example, plugins, as far as I know, cannot currently read carry-alls.
Okay.
So that means, for example, if you have a plugin that displays what tasks are available at the nearest task board, it will be able to display any that are in your bags that you have, so that works properly, but it has no concept of carry-all, so it cannot tell you which ones you can complete from items that are in your carry-all.
Okay.
Now, fortunately, if you got a carry-all with them in there, you can just open up the carry-all and look in there, because it's easier, probably going to be easier to compare that to what's on the board if you have a carry-all than otherwise. So at least it won't be as bad as trying to look through your regular bags if you did so, but it would be really convenient if it were able to check. But anyway, plugins, some sort of something that can help you with the interface in there to help either to visualize things better or to make it easier for you to do it. Usually they do things like adding extra shortcuts that you could click on or something like that.
Okay. So then how do you go about finding reputable ones?
How do you find reputable plugins? I usually go to LOTRO interface. Actually, the only place where I would ever get a plugin is from LOTROinterface.com.
Okay. And are there any specific things that you look for to determine if it's going to be one that is possibly reliable?
Well,
the number of downloads, or do you look at comments?
I must admit that there's usually so little, that there's usually only one or two that might be related to a particular task that you want, that I've never gone around reading the comments too much.
Okay.
I mean, I think they do have star ratings for these things, but I must admit I don't think I usually read the star rating all that closely.
Okay.
Yeah, so the one that I used quite a bit was one called Buff Bars, and what that did was that turned kind of graphically turned in a lot of your timers, so you could actually see how long you had in a very convenient way for either a skill resetting or a potion resetting or a effect that's on you, how much time you've got left. It was that's a great way to kind of enhance your raid game.
Yeah.
So
I still use that.
Yeah, and then I know another. I didn't use this one, but I knew another one because I can absolutely see why the carry-alls would be a problem, because these plugins were just simply developed before carry-alls were even remotely an idea too.
Right.
Like the one I know a lot of people use this other one where you can be on one character and open your inventory on all characters with the plugin, which was really convenient.
Yeah, there are a couple of them that do that. Like Titan Bar allows you to do that also. In fact, I sometimes use that particular feature on Titan Bar where I say, I'm looking for a particular item. Does anyone have it in their inventory? Does anyone have it in their bank?
Yeah, and I think what Pine Leaf was getting at too with LOTRO interface is the point of LOTRO interface is that it is like a portal with a bunch of plugins that you can use, and those should be fully vetted plugins. Basically, that should be a place where you can trust the whatever plugin you're seeing in the list there. You can trust that plugin should be a good, safe plugin.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So that's what I think Pine Leaf was getting at. They doesn't necessarily read the reviews or the stars or anything. He's just really looking for, okay, this one does exactly what I want it to do.
Yeah, I suspect that. I hope there's someone reviewing them before they get accepted.
This is one of AI's first tendrils.
One of AI's first tendrils. Yes.
That could be frightening. So then it sounds like I've heard buff bars, I've heard Titan bar. Are there any other plugins that you guys really enjoy?
Oh shoot! I know there's a
Well,
couple other ones. I just can't remember the names.
Yeah. Well, one of them that I tend to use is called daily tasks.
Okay.
And daily tasks, this is one of the ones where I was talking about is really hit by the fact that they don't understand the concept of carry-alls, is because we have the thing, and it gives you a list of where you can ask it where the nearest task board is located, and it tells you which items that you have in your inventory are available for finishing up at least one task. So if you've got 26 of an item in there, then it will tell you that, all right, you've got 26 of 10 or whatever that are available that can be turned in for tasks in there. So therefore I now know I could complete 2 tasks by doing that particular item in there. Now, they do update that whenever there is a... In fact, this is written by Vinny, the same person who did your favorite one.
Okay.
Cinders. Yes. And what this thing does then is that it just, as I said, it could display the nearest one, or you could also ask it, all right, here's a particular item. Is there any place where I could turn this in for tasks? So it also does that in it, but it has no concept of carry-alls. It's updated every time. So if it were possible with the interface that they have, with the interface language, to talk to carry-alls, it would have been implemented a long time ago. So it's not because the plugin is very old that's the problem. It's the fact that there is absolutely nothing in the Lua command structure that allows them to look into a carry-all.
Okay.
So those, yeah. So those are the favorite ones I have: Titan bar, daily tasks, and the third one is buff bars. Those are the 3 that I use constantly.
Okay. Yeah, I was familiar with Titan bar. My new favorite is Lost Lore, which is one of the Vinny plugins, because it lets you track all those sorry little treasure chests and Gundabad chests and dwarf markers so that you can complete your deeds in the area, even if you walk away and forget which ones you've already picked up. So that has been really, really nice to have that. And then, of course, with Sans, especially before they started upping the level cap, being able to go roving threat hunting with the roving threat plugin, that was always nice. So those would be my favorites.
All right. Okay, those are your favorites. So that's a little short thing on what they are. They're little applets that allow you to improve your user experience with the game. Like, tell you where lost lore items are, which is always nice.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you don't have to worry about having a website in the background trying to lead you to it or anything like that, which is the alternative way of handling that scenario in there.
Yeah.
Especially websites that just popped up and locked all your files. Come this way to... No.
Ooh, Mary Rose says, Festival Buddy, the latest version, is helpful for them at festivals and also Travel Window 2 to know where about ports and where they're going, what they have.
You see, exactly. There you go.
Awesome.
Other excellent utility items.
Yes.
Right. Anything else what anyone wants to add? Then let's go into our week in LOTRO. Krister, what were you up to?
Well, before I get into my week in gaming, I'm going to SSG to SSG.
What?
All right. Well, that means I'm going to shamelessly submit goos to Standing Stone Games. All right.
All right.
So SSG to SSG. It's a new protocol.
This.
It's a new protocol.
Okay, so we
All
need
right,
to put
so
that in there
we've
so
got
we know what it means.
This week we've got Melancholy Goo, Nimble Goo, Rotating Goo, and then my favorite of the week, Needy Goo.
What was it?
Needy. It's Needy Goo.
Needy Goo. Like KNEAD or like
Well, I guess it could be either one now. Technically, I guess you could have Needy. It could even be knee goo. Wait. All right, so this Friday, as I was kind of hoping, but of course it always goes to, it's never exactly what you want. It's always what you get. So we had several people returning, and then we ended up having too many people. So by the time I actually got there, our raid was pretty locked in place, and Pineleaf and Cinders were unable to accompany us for this raid last night. So I apologize about that, you guys.
Oh, it's okay. We get it.
But if anything, we mocked you and celebrated the fact that we were all doing it. So if that's any consolation, no.
Not really.
However,
no, but we'll roll.
However, we did have something awesome, which was Sans was able to join our raid last night. So that was really cool. And so we did the proto rotation first. Did all of that because Sans could turn those in, and then we went and ran the Witch King Citadel, and got to the same place. We didn't get as far as we did with the last week with 3 less people, and the 2 of you with us. And so we got to the point. We got just before she activated, and then we would have had to pull them apart. We just basically died there, and it was just too late at that point. But it was another good. I mean, the good news is, and I know we're doing it at 140. I know there's that's a big factor.
Yeah.
But it's just nice to be able to go through the entire one, go through this entire raid and get to the end of it. So we're right there. We're very close to it. It's just gonna be nice to complete it, which is something everybody wants to do. So I think it's just a matter of time. But out of that, came a hysterical debate last night, where when we got to the big crystal, because that looks like the dark crystal, it's a gigantic, like this 6 foot tall, 8 foot tall crystal there. And, the question was like, what, instead of having to bear the ring, what if Frodo had to bear like this 6 foot tall, 300 pound crystal around? And that's what he had to bring them out to chuck into the lava. How different would the story be as you have to consider all the logistics of transporting this thing?
I don't think they'd have ever made it.
I feel like Gandalf's cart in the beginning of the movie would have been far more important in the whole entire story. That might even replace Bill. There might, you'd have to have some kind of cart.
Can you imagine trying to sneak around with that, though? And avoid anybody seeing you?
When they're at Mordor. What do you mean we got to take this thing up the secret stair? Look how steep it is. Well, Schmeagol would have had to have been a cave troll then, because then he could just, put it on his back.
Right.
Anyways, that was I thought that was pretty hysterical just to think about. Well, what if it wasn't just a convenient, lightweight, nice little ring you put around your finger? What was something that was a giant pain in the rear to move? And so it was. Ultimately, last night was great. We had our kin leader was back last night. We had a couple old timers, one really old timer who hadn't been around in years. And so seeing these people back and just getting excited about the fact that we probably can might be entering a phase of being able to do raids every week, which hasn't happened in a long time. So I'm looking forward to you two, of course, joining us in these future raids as well. So we'll get the signups thing hammered out, and I'll let you know as soon as we do that. And then mainly was playing ESO, and I came up with my idea that I cannot convey in words to anyone how good my characters look cosmetically. So I practice what's called quantum cosmetics. Is I cannot possibly tell you how good my character looks until you observe it. And then once you've observed him, you can see how amazing my character is. So anytime, and I'm opening this to you guys across LOTRO and ESO, anytime you guys need to feel better about the world, see the crystallized wonder of hope, just let me know and I'll show you one of my characters. Okay, so now I never messed around with transmutation crystals in ESO, and then I figured out that I could use them to change enchantments that weren't necessarily good on my armor and weapons and jewelry to increase Mundus Stone effect and my Mundus Stone is the writing stone. So now I have gotten myself to move even faster. I already move just below light speed, so now I'm even faster. So it's been a blast. And then basically, other than those two, was dabbling in Rogue Trader. So that was my week in gaming. Cinders, what were you up to?
So I completed Steep Set and Goonabad with Pine Leaf. It is the second area that we have gone through and done completionist. And got into the point of being able to do the jewel quest for the throne. We're now on Pine Leaf character number 3 to run around with Emeralina. I think we finally figured out which character had been running with Emeralina in the first place. But Pine Leaf was like, man, I'm going to have 7 different characters that all have one jewel. I was like, sorry. Yeah, so I finished Steep Set, and then we did that over the week, and then today we went and we got the first 2 jewels of the throne via puzzles and parkour. Pine Leaf died in the parkour portion, and then
note to self: turn off forced march or
leafy feet before attempting the parkour section in there, because he gets parkoured right off the steps.
Parkoured right off the steps
and fell to his death. And I was like, no, I didn't have any problems with it. And normally, like, I'm the one who has problems with the jumping game, right? Like, that one tower in Rohan, like, forget it. Sans actually had to get her captain up there and then summon Emeralina up because there was no way I was getting up that thing.
But why did you need a captain if you had Emeralina?
Because we were running our captain and Emeralina together.
Oh, so it didn't matter. Okay. Now I see.
No, do you understand where he was going with that? I just want to point this out, Cinders.
Yes.
Why did you have a captain when you could have had a mariner? That's what he wanted to say.
Well, the mariner didn't exist at that point. So that would have been impossible. That was when we did the captain and guardian duo. All the way to level 80. So I think actually the last time I talked to Sans, her captain was still parked at the top of that tower so that my alts could get summoned to the top because, like, Cinders couldn't get up there. Like, the spatial awareness to do that just doesn't work for me. And so, but today, when we were going after those jewels, I was able to parkour around for the Madagard jewel without any problems. And so I was really surprised when Pine Leaf was the one who fell to his doom. And then we got to solve the puzzle for the jewel in the Steep Set. So that was fun.
Yeah, Stone Jaws?
Yeah, Stone Jaws, that one. So maybe we finished Stone Jaws. That's what it was in that Steep Set. Let me fix that.
Well, Steep Set is where you go in order to turn them all in.
Okay. Yes. Okay, so I wasn't totally wrong. Yeah, so we finished the Stonejaws area. And then I got Introduction by Fire to Ill Omens yesterday. So those of you who know me know that I don't really skirmish. So that's thing number one is I don't really skirmish, so I don't know these skirmishes, right? So I'm there tanking, which is fantastic, and normally like Pineleaf tells me where to go, and I just go. So we started with Trouble in Tuckborough, and I pulled a Krister, and we'd gotten all the way through, like it'd been really good, hadn't poked the Harbinger or anything like that. We got an Emissary of War, and like half of the courtyard came after us, and then the whole group wiped. And so Pineleaf was like, well, I'm just going to pull and see if I can figure out a safe way for us to get back. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, that's great. Nobody has a res. So I just went ahead and I pulled 2 so that I could put on my shield spikes and all that good stuff and be ready to go again, right? And so as we're doing this, Pineleaf is panicking because now the Harbinger and the Emissary of War and Venomous Blood Arrow and all of the trash mobs around them are all in the same spot. And so I had come, instead of going over the hill, I'd come around the side. I was like, well, what if I just see if I can pull the Emissary of War, right? Like, just see if we can separate them a little bit. And I was like, okay, that's a good idea. So I tried that. And Pineleaf had not made it back around yet, all the way to figure out what was going on. So I started having to, like, kite this Emissary of War, followed by the Harbinger, which thankfully moved significantly slower than the Emissary of War. So M's running backwards, shooting her bow and arrow, which is the funniest thing ever because the arrows, like, go off to the side, right? Like, they're doing 0 damage. Nothing is happening other than it's keeping things mad at her. So I'm, like, trying to tell Pineleaf, like, it's all under control, like, I'm just backing around, like, just start picking off the trash, like, it'll be fine. So I'm backing up, and for once I did not get lost in Tuckborough. So I'm kiting back, kited up and over the hill, and Pineleaf this whole time was going, I can't find anybody! Stop moving! I can't find anybody! So finally Pineleaf finds me, because I'm like, I'm at the top of the hill, Pineleaf. I've got the Emissary of War, the Harbinger's ways away, like, and I'm just trying to find the thing to get the Emissary of War's debuff thing down, right? So I come down the hill and I walk into the square just as Pineleaf finds me, and Pineleaf's like, oh good, and starts attacking the Emissary of War, right? And the Harbinger's at the top of the hill, but then the shields go up again, and so I start backing up, and Pineleaf is like, stop moving! I was like, I'm just trying to get him in the next square, like, it's gonna be fine. Yeah, so by the time that the Emissary of War went down and the Harbinger got to us, all of the other mobs were down. And so Pineleaf was just like, on his Mariner, like, shing, 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 and dead. Like, the Harbinger is just gone. And so then the rest of that skirmish went so beautifully. Like, we even managed to time the final boss so that Pineleaf didn't get both bosses at once. So we've done that to him before. But for 5 people in a 6-man, like, I felt like that was pretty good. So Guardian kiting was fun. And then we did the Doom of Karis Galebrin with 5 players. And
not recommended.
Well, I wouldn't say that. We were doing fine. We did it at 145. We were doing fine right up until the last wave. At which point we were trying to kill the Harbinger, and Pineleaf was like, let's just quickly get the Harbinger. And
bad idea, yes.
so we were all over at the Harbinger, and then the final wave of mobs came in and just wiped out all the defenders. And we were done. And we had just a sliver of the Ill Omen thing left of the Harbinger. He just had like a sliver of his bar, and we all got booted. Oh, it was so discouraging.
Right. Now,
that's painful.
Actually, yeah, I think what was really is I think that I think I must have miscounted the waves. I thought it was I think I thought we were at the last wave of the fourth assault, and it looked like, in other words, that we had just finished the last wave of the fourth assault, and that it was a good time that we would have a break. But based on how fast that horn came up, I'm beginning to think, oh, did I put that in between the third and fourth waves of the last? Oh, good. Of the fourth assault, instead of between the fourth and fifth assault, and that, yeah, I may have miscounted in there.
That is okay. So then today, Pineleaf is like, I'm doing Ill Omens again. And I was like, okay, like what level are we doing this at? He's like, with my level capped characters. I was like, okay, let me go get Emerlina. So I got Emerlina, got Acorn to Mirkwood where I could pick up the quest. And then we're doing it. And so there's like, instead of having the 6 and you only have to do 4, we had 5 and you have to do 4, right? So we had both Icy Crevasse and Barrow Downs on there. And I'm like, oh, please tell me we're not doing Icy Crevasse. Please tell me we're not doing Icy Crevasse. And then we're like, well, we have to do Icy Crevasse because otherwise it's Survival Barrow Downs. I was like, okay, yeah, that's probably not a good idea because there's a duo version of that. So we did Icy Crevasse. And then we got to the final boss and Pineleaf got smacked. Like he just got flattened. So here's my poor guardian all by herself with like 0 DPS. And we finally beat it. It was so gratifying.
Hooray!
It took forever. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, it took forever. And there were a couple of times where Pineleaf was like, you're going to die. I was like, okay. And then it just so happened that my big heal would come off cooldown. And so I'd pop it again. And then I'd be back to almost full health to be able to keep going. And so we did finally get through it, though. Yeah, but yeah, Guardian DPS. Oh. Yeah. So that was my week in game. How was yours, Pineleaf?
All right. Well, then, my warden collected a crew for a secret mission. And my lore master started to study the effects of ill omens. And my low-level mariner completed a class quest and then headed into the Wildwood. And also, after that little discussion on plugins, I decided to see if I could note some, I guess, tease ones. Now, these aren't ones I've done before, but these just shows you some of the items. It's like there's one called Altholic, so you could look at get summaries of your various characters that you have. But this one has one little problem with it, and that is that there's this note. Be careful. If the characters from your different servers have exactly the same names, it doesn't work. So yes, I guess you should read the descriptions in there just in case there's something in there that could be a problem with it, because I have characters by the name of Pineleaf Needles in most servers. So yes, it apparently goes by name or anything like that. So always these little things you have to take care of. So if you have only one server, I guess that could be useful if you want to keep track of your alts. And then here's another one for most intriguing name was Windows Tracker of Town Services.
Ooh, what does that one do?
Essentially, what it does is it gives you information about how many inventory spots you have and what carry-alls you have. It can't tell you, I don't think it can tell you what's inside of it or anything like that, because that's, but at least it can tell you what carry-alls you have, what you have in there, and of course, when they're expecting when the service thing to expire on you. In other words, do you have the clicky still there, or is it gone? And if it is there, it'll tell you how much time you got left on it. And I think it also has a special shortcut button that you could hit if you wanted to open up your town service thing without opening up your inventory or anything like that. Anyway, so those are the type of things they have in there. So, and that's it. What we've got. That's it for our weekend gaming, and that's it for our comments on the matter. So, how can you send us an email? Because we don't have any this week. You can send it to podcast@loachplayers.com. And the Players Alliance has 2 shows every week. On Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we have Loach Players News, and re-record DDO Players News when Drac is available. You can join us for our shows at loachplayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight. And this is Piney Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.